Hey guys, OgreBarberian here. As you can see, I just claimed my login reward Centurion for connecting to Facebook, and we're going to go ahead and go into Chapter 1, because this game can be a little confusing at times. So, if you follow the little flashing icon, wherever it is on the screen, it'll tell you where the story is going. So, literally, I've just finished tutorial, connected my account, and I'm going into Act 1, Scene 1. So, we're just going to follow the storyline. And this is definitely something you want to do, is you want to follow that storyline. For, as much as you can, you want to follow the storyline anyway. It gives you quite a bit to do, and it gives you good progression as you continue. So, you definitely want to follow it when you can. Especially early on. Early on, you'll be able to breeze through stuff pretty easily. And they give you a pretty good group of starting characters with Ren, Leona, and Astria here. So you may be asking why I am back at Act 1, and that's because I had my account unlinked, so that I could go back to Act 1 and replay everything and kind of record videos for it and show you guys what happens and what's going on and try to talk you through it a little bit. We got our first search mission. And then we got our little helper here who's going to tell us what is going on. Make sure you read these when you can. I don't really need to because I've already done this all, like I said. So I'm just going to kind of click through everything. Alright, so we're going to take Ren, take Leona, take Astria. And then I'm going to... Can't show anybody else because the story doesn't allow me to yet. And unlike some games, these little tips down here at the bottom when your loading screens are up, they actually are useful tips. And they do help explain the game a little bit. So go ahead and, take a read. The camera just changes, how you look at the battle. I prefer this one. But again, it just changes the view for you. Alright, and there we unlock our next character. You can't really screw these early ones up, so that's, totally fine. Battles are pretty easy early on. They do get harder later, and I'm going to try to explain what kind of things you should pay attention to. Alright, so we're going to continue to search for survivors following the act. Let's stay around here. But we now have access to Strongheim. Every time you complete an act, it'll give you your stars. It'll tell you what the next mission is. Now we're going to go to the Sky Prison. There's a handful of different mission types. You got Search, Sky Prison, Showdown, which is your boss fight. And again, you want to read through these little things that they're telling you here. You're going to let me apply Centurion now? Yes, you are. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and go in with a full 5 team. You can do it with the 4, obviously, that they give you. It doesn't really change anything. I just want to, get some experience on Centurion since he looks cool. Alright, so we got Strahd now. This is your first battle with Aether Weapon, as they call it. Alright, and this little blurb here that they're talking about here is that they're kind of telling you that each person has a role. You've got your tank with Strahd, you've got Ren, who's your interrupter, which we will get into. You've got Leona for your damage, and you've got Astria for your healing. So everybody has a role. You always want to look into it a little bit, especially later on when you start getting new characters. You want to look into them. If you're not sure, whether the one you got is any good, you can click on them, and I'll go into that a little bit later too. Alright, we got another search mission. It says to search for survivors still. And you can, always click over here to see what you have, what can be used. Actually, I'll back out for a second so I can explain a couple things. So if you click on your mission, it actually tells you what you're doing. So it tells you where to go, tells you what your rewards are, and it also, if you look up the top, it actually says 2 out of 5 complete, which means we have to do a few more search missions, which is what we're going to be doing right now. Or a few more missions, I guess. Doesn't necessarily mean search missions, but there are later ones where it requires you to do X number of search missions, or complete Aether Prison a number of times, or Showdown with a number of times. So you'll have to repeat things, and by the time you get there, you'll kind of understand what that means. One thing I do want to show when I get a chance is interrupting. Currently, our only interrupter is Ren, which is perfectly fine because he's really good at it. Alright, we're going to save Ren's ability here. We're going to try and time it to interrupt. And then there we see the combo status pop up. That happens when you use the interrupt while an enemy is casting a skill. As long as the skill is purple in nature and not white, you'll be able to interrupt it. I'll try and get a better view in the next battle here. I'll try to slow down the battle so that I can show you that more in depth. Because this is kind of an important mechanic to the game. You do need to be able to do that later on, especially. And this is how you're going to build your teams, and it's how it's going to influence your flow of combat. Being able to interrupt is very important, but then when you interrupt, you also incur the combo status, which allows anybody that has a maneuver to link to that particular status, whether it's knockdown, airborne, or knockdown, airborne, or stun, being the last one. Alright, so you can change your tactics here to survive or focus. But we're going to go ahead and try to leave it on all-out attack for now, just because it's a slightly stronger. And then you have sidekicks that you have access to. And this increases as you increase your friend list. You'll actually be able to add friends. I'm just making a whole bunch of requests because having more friends is important. Go ahead and start this battle. You definitely want to add friends as you can, whether it's through your guild, just through random people that, you know. And then you want to check your friends list every couple of days and see if anybody's not logged in, you know, week or so, and let them go and pick up new people. Because your friend list is what sends you friend coins, or I don't know if they're friend coins, but they send you some sort of currency that you use for a few things. And those are kind of important as you go into the game. Right, so I'm waiting for the skill to be purple. There it is. So I interrupt. As I've interrupted, I can now activate this special ability off of. Right, so when you interrupt, you're going to have special skills pop up above your normal skills. Those are the link skills that are relevant to that character. I'll go more in depth to that in later videos once we get more towards team building. Right now I'm just kind of going through storyline. Again, you want to go through storyline as much as you can to, you know, progress. But interrupting is something that you definitely want to learn how to do. So the main thing to remember is that you have 3 different types of interrupting. You have knockdown, airborne, and stun. And then you have characters that can link to the particular type. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here real quick. Go into our heroes.
Let's get this started.
Click on this skill here. So he applies a knockdown. And here you can kind of see some of the knockdown link characters. We've got Vengeful Strike on Leona. We've got William. Shot. And you've got Nora, who's going to have a special ability. And those are just, you know, a handful of the characters that can inflict the combo when it's available. So I can get back into our battle here and try to complete this first scene. So got one more. I'll try So I'll show the combo status one more time. This time on a slow animation, and hopefully it'll be a little easier to follow for you. And there you also learn damage is increased by 10% for a knockdown after effect, which means that all those combos are going to be pretty strong. Well, stronger than they normally would be, but they have to be enabled anyway, so... Alright. I'm going to save Ren's ability here for this next fight. And if you're wondering why my animations are not showing the bosses, I actually turned that off. You can do that in your settings. As you can see, this little... Never mind, I'll talk about that later. We're not even to the point where we have access to it yet, so it doesn't matter. We'll learn a little bit of backstory and lore here. Alright, so we've gotten these materials. Let's go ahead and awaken our first character. And then I'll kind of go into what awakening kind of entails so that you kind of have a better idea. Alright, so you go over here to the advancement portal. You go to awaken. I'm going to go ahead and awaken here. So as you can see, it requires materials. These materials, the awakening stones and then the fire essence. And this is basically, it's all based on what star level, what star rank the characters have. Leona, Ren, Astria, and have 2 stars. Centurion has 3. He's going to require a little bit more on these materials than the other 4 are. Let's go ahead and awaken her. I love the animations on their effects.
I'll show you just how strong I can be.
Alright, and that turns her gold stars into purple. So that's how you can tell whether or not a character is awakened already. Is they're going to have purple stars, and it gives them this extra ability called their divine skill. And it also gives them a wings slot. Okay. So the divine skill uses 100% divine power. And that was what I was going to mention previously, was the little bar at the bottom of the screen. But since we are about to find out what it is, I'll go ahead and cover it now. Alright. go ahead and try to complete this next mission here. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and leave the battle on slow just so that we can see what all is happening.
Blessing of life.
Alright, come on. Let me get my combo status up here. There it is. Alright. So I didn't get to show you the divine skill and what that entails. So I'm going to try and do one battle here before I call it a day to show you that and what it means. Alright, so we got our first set of wings. Later on you can get these wings in your guild. Once you have a guild, you'll be able to get, when you get guild coins, you'll be able to unlock chests for elemental wings, and they are specific to the element. So like in this instance, Leona is fire, so she's going to need fire wings. So just something to note as you decide to start opening those boxes. You want to open the ones that are relevant to the characters you have, that are capable of equipping them. This is just showing you how to equip stuff, so. Head back into our battle here and try to get that divine skill off. In this boss fight. Alright. Alright, let's go ahead and try to last until we can get that divine skill. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the battle a little bit, since I'm not really going to try and do anything. Alright, so right here you can see that Leona's main skill got pushed up, and there's now a golden skill, which is her divine skill. And this bar down here at the bottom, down here, the bar down at the bottom, is your power for the divine skill. The divine skill is only available if they're awakened, and if your whole team, if anybody on your team is awakened, they can use the bar, but you only get the one bar. So if you have multiple people awakened, you have to choose which ability you want to use during a battle. Obviously, the LEONAS are only one, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Yeah. And there's Leona's normal skill as well. So, but anyway, that's how divine skills work. Hopefully that was clear enough. And if you have any questions, please leave comments. Yeah, and I will do my best to explain again for whether it's interrupt or divine skills. I think those are the main two things that I wanted to go over in this one. So, with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for this video. I think that was the end of scene 6. We're now heading to scene 7. So, alright. As always, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Enjoy, and grind on.